Hello, if you can hear the music, it belongs to the original artist and the radio station, not me. So don't get me for copyright infringement or whatever. When you're going to see more wreaths right now because that's what I'm focused on. I'm trying to use the wreaths as a fundraiser for Archer so that he can retire when I get his retirement dog in about 4 years. But since I know how long it took me to get Archer, I am starting that now. And you may be asking, I'm cheating. You may be asking, why are you focusing on getting a service dog right now when yours doesn't need to retire? And I think other service dog owners who might hear this will agree that it's easier to start before your dog needs to retire. Then things can go downhill fast when there's something wrong with your dog, and nobody wants that to happen. But then when your life depends on that dog's help and that dog's no longer around, you're going to lose a lot of independence. Therefore, plus I just enjoy making these. I've got 4 made in a tub back there. And if those of you who have been around, there's part 1 where we wrapped this. We're going to actually finish that sometime this week. I've got some lights out, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use bats or ghosts. Probably spiders. I don't know. But that's not what this is. This is this. You don't have to go with the wire reforms or the wood ones that you've been seeing me use. You can also use these. I don't know what they were initially for, but I found a bunch of them on the free table. Had no idea what I was going to do with them, but I thought, well, I'll grab them and see. Turns out my landlord gave me a thing that's a roll. This is what it is. It's a great big roll of this kind of stuff. So what I do is I glue the robe to this like this all the way around, and then I wrap it around like this all the way around. And this is what results. Now there are a few spots where they're really big, right here and right here, because I wasn't sure where I was going to put the battery pack, but I knew I needed a bigger space when you glue it on. See how I needed something a little wider? That's why. I never usually plan my wreaths. I just go with what appeals. But when you're putting your lights on, first I put the batteries in. I sell mine already lit up. I find they sell easier if they're already lit up and the potential customer can see what you're doing. So get your batteries in the pack and then glue the pack down. That's step 1. Step 2, I wind the lights. Now, step 3 is where the glue is going to come in. You're going to want to get your glue gun, and this one I love. This is not sponsored, but this is my current new toy. A friend of mine got it for me. It's got its own stand. It's got high-low. It's on low right now, but that's still really hot. So if you got kiddos around, please be careful, monitor your children. But what you're going to do is glue down some of these lights. Now don't glue them down where they're going to be in the way of this battery pack opening up. But you just want to glue 1 or 2 lights in place so that it holds when you're messing with it. You don't need this whole thing unraveling on you. So we just want to put some lights in place with some glue on them. Doesn't have to be every single light. Just 1 or 2 on the strand so that they're in place somewhere, so that put it under the wire and then just hold it down for a few seconds and it will hold. That's just so the lights don't come unbound on you, unwound. This thing is not meant to last forever. Let's face it, folks, it's not going to last forever, but you just want to be careful and do something, you know. Isn't this pretty? Don't know if we're going to use this or not. Like I said, I don't plan out. I know some people that do plan out every flower, and I'm just not that way. I'm not. I don't know why I'm not. Most of the time, I don't even know what my wreath's gonna turn out looking like until I'm done. Now this, it's poinsettia, right? It's pretty, but it doesn't always have to be for winter. I just want it because it's white, so I'm gonna put it out there. Doesn't mean I'm gonna use it, but I'm gonna pick through some colors. Now I do color schemes, especially when I don't have a lot of flowers. Sorry, that was a motorcycle dude. I want some lighter colors on this wreath because the lights are green. You know, so we're gonna just play around with it. Here's some sunflowers. That might be nice. Some flowers that get crumpled. That is not unusable. You can use that if you need to squish something bright in place. So don't throw those away. Just because it gets a little crumpled, don't throw it away on me. I need the purple, so I'm gonna pull that out because I wanna do it on the Christmas wreath. Let go of me. It's also good to have another basket handy when you're going through wreaths, so you can toss ones that you think you might use on another project in there, in case you don't want to be digging through your whole thing like I am. That's pretty. That would look good on the heart wreath form, so we're going to toss that in the other basket. But, you know, you do you. You're not, yes, you're selling this, but if you don't like it and that shows in your attitude, then it's not going to sell. You see what I mean? I love these little daisies. I think we're going to use some of these daisies. I really like these, and this would be a pretty summer look for this wreath if we just use some daisies and some sunflowers to make it, with the green lights, make it just a little bit of a bright hello for summer. These will add a pop of color, and you can take them apart or use them as the bushel. So even if your flower stuff is really little, doesn't mean you can't, you're not going to use it. Don't toss it. Just put it aside, and the right time will come, and you'll be going, aha! I knew I would find the right thing for that. Let me show you an example. I've got a flower. I've got a lap full of flowers. Give me a sec. I got a bunch of greenery here. I don't know what I'm going to use this for, but I know it could be useful as ivy stuff on another wreath, Christmas wreath, so I'm going to keep it, you know. I've got flowers that are, because they're odd shaped, I have no idea how I'm going to use them, but I keep them because I want to have them for future use. I knew there was a word there I was trying to spit out. Now see, I got these butterflies here. That might be pretty on this. You can straighten these out. You can take apart old wreaths and reuse the parts, and even reuse the wreath form. If you're wanting to do it that way for leaves for Halloween, if you're wanting to do that, you know, if you like to make things, and you can always take them apart year by year. Now look at that. Isn't that pretty? But look how the shape is really weird. Wouldn't work for this, but it might work for something else, so I'm going to put it back. I've got these in like 3 or 4 different colors. I don't know what I'm going to use them for because they are such a weird shape. But I'm not going to let that detour me because I think they're pretty and they're going to be really useful. So give me a second while I finish digging, and we'll put the wreath together. Like I said, just because it was bought at Christmas time doesn't mean that some of the flowers and stuff are always going to be, oh, I bought that at Christmas, that, you know, I can only use that at Christmas. And wrong plan. You really, really don't have to plan it like that. You don't. You can plan it any old way you want. This is your creation. Use your imagination. Let it fly. If your kids are doing this and you're supervising because of the hot glue and stuff, don't tell them, oh, you can't put that flower. That's a poinsettia. That only goes for Christmas. Don't you do that. You let that kid express their imagination. Let that take root and soar. That's what you want. You never want to poo-poo someone else's creation. If it's not right, if you don't like it, instead of saying, oh, that's ugly, I don't like that, you can say, that's nice, but it's not my style. How you say things, and this took me a very long time to learn, that how you say things can have a huge impact, whether you know it or not. And if you have kids around, that is doubly so, because they listen to every little thing. They hear vast amounts of information, and then you're going to pop out with, where did you learn that type of thing? Let's teach them by example. When they create something, if you don't like it, don't say that. Say, that's really awesome. I bet someone's going to really love that. And that's not just when you're talking to kids. When you're talking to grown-ups, it can be the same way. You can hurt someone without realizing it. I have a lot of people that tell me, oh, I don't like that. Or that's just, that's ugly. And if that's how they feel, fine. But they don't have to say it that way either. You know what I'm saying? Little bird houses. For a bigger wreath, put a little bird houses on there. I got little church. This wreath is too big for it. It's too big for this wreath, I mean. But even little ornaments can be made to be used on a wreath. Okay? You can use just about anything. I'm just looking in here real quick, because I know I have a few of these little gold bows. I don't know if we're going to use them, but I'm going to pull a couple out. And we'll see what comes about it. Because I always like to add a little shimmer. Shimmer, shimmer, shimmer. Okay. We've even got these little guys. I've got the phone upside down so that it actually lets you see what I'm doing. Okay. These are sunflowers too, but I don't know if we're going to use them, so we're going to put them over here. Clear off your station. Now, every flower you pulled out, you may not use every single one. And just pull out in a variety. If you have an idea of where you're wanting to go, that's cool. That's great. Now, I'm going to turn these lights off right now because we don't need them on. My suggestion is place your big flowers first. Okay? So that you can have an idea of where you need a hole filler. Now, these, and I've got several of them, make great to hide the battery packs. You literally just kind of glue it to the top of the battery pack where it'll come off with the battery pack sometimes, or you can do it at the side of the battery pack. You could put one right here and then grab another one, which it's behind me. Now this would probably work better for a bigger wreath, but you could do that to hide the battery pack. But again, this wreath is smaller, so I'm not going to use those because to me they're too big. Now, look what I did. When you're putting the lights on, I wanted some lights over this box, but it can be moved aside when they're putting the new batteries in, okay? Leave some slack in your lights for that. I even think this one's too big, so we're gonna put it to the side. But I love these little daisies, and I think we're gonna do like a yellow and white scheme. So I'm gonna put some glue directly on the wreath form. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can do what I just did and put some glue directly on your wreath form. Hold on, I don't want my glue gun to. And then your glue's, whoa, your glue's right there. And then you just press the flower in like that. And don't worry if that happens. Sometimes something pops off your flower. It's all good. It's all good. If something like this popped off, you know, look, do you think it looks better with it or without it? If you wanted it back on, just dab glue and boom, you got it. Fred's your uncle. I don't think we need someone to toss it. We're gonna go around with some of these daisies. Now, look what I just did, folks. This is the back. This is the front. But that's okay. You can do a two-sided wreath, that's fine. But this will now become a stabilizing point for another flower, such as this one. Let's use this one. I want you to put the glue right here on the green part of the stem. You see that? So what we're gonna do, I've just got my thumb in the center to hold it steady, but I'm gonna put the glue on the green part. It's hot, you don't wanna burn yourself. You can also use E6000, but it takes longer to dry. Some people use super glue and E6000, that's fine. It's your party, you can glue where you want to. But I like to give myself some place to push till the glue sets. Now, see? So I messed up. It's cool. Don't have to worry about it. All good. Now, I'm gonna pull the heads off these flowers. You just wanna pull this green part off too. So put your fingers here and pull. That's all you need to do. This little bud, instead of pulling him off, you can snip him off so that he can stick out of a tight spot. Yeah, if you had scissors, you could. And I did have scissors. I just don't know where I put them. In lieu of scissors. No scissors, just pull it off. There's the leaf. And if you see, all I need to do when I get scissors, since this one won't pull off, is trim right there. That way I can stick that out. In fact, I'll use that on this wreath. All I gotta do is locate my scissors. Bear with me a moment. That's the bad part about crafting. You lose your scissors. You hide them from yourself. I found them. So I'm gonna cut along the stem right there. Now the stem part, this part can be glued down and the bud can be sticking up like that or at an angle like that, but you won't see this part. It's gonna be what holds it on the wreath. And just simply pull the leaves off because you wanna keep that. You can use this, believe it or not. When you're pushing on a flower that's got hot glue on it and you don't wanna burn your fingers, push with one of these pieces of the stem. With this junk piece. It's all good. And be careful around wires and everything too. You don't want to glue your cell phone wire to your project or something. Now, see? Now, we're just gonna go around the circle. It's not gonna be all yellow and white, but I think it's gonna be a lot of it. Ah, I have two flowers stuck together. Just pull that one right off. You want to sometimes have the flowers, vines and this stuff. So what we're gonna do on the back here, right there, we're gonna put glue right like that. So we put the glue down the back. Be careful where you're holding it because that glue is going to burn you. Tuck it under the leaves of the flowers that you already glued down and push it down onto the wreath form. Now you have a leaf, and you're just building on that what you've done here. So just grab your next one. Now if you have this and this is too long and won't fit in between the twine on the wreath you're using, or for some reason that needs to be, you can trim that off just like that. Now it will probably fit better in the space, but sometimes if you're gonna glue the flower, you don't always want to glue it sitting up like this. Sometimes you can glue it sitting on its side, like so. Tuck it under. Now sometimes you're gonna want to put your finger in the flower and push down to get it right. That's how I'm doing this one. Now it's on there, but it's sideways, but that's fine. This is kind of a 3D project. You want to be able to see around the whole project. Now, if you want to balance it and put a pink on that side, but it doesn't have to be the exact same pink, let's do this little sprig. Hold on, had to rescue the glue gun. We're going to use the whole thing on this one. So what I want you to do is put the glue, because this one's going to be laying down too, right down the stem. Just like that. Now, if you got to have your glue drip, that's fine. That's why I'm on a turntable. I've got a tablecloth on my craft table, and I just burned my finger. Ouch! So go in there with these piece of trash stem that you don't need and just push it down. Sometimes other petals are going to get in your way of flowers that are already there. So just move them around a little bit. It's not going to hurt anything. And that's how you're going to use that, to just push down so you don't get your fingers in the hot glue. Because they don't call it hot glue for nothing. Just a few quick seconds is all you need. Now let's keep going around the circle and just adding little bits here and there of what we want. Like I said, it doesn't have to be planned out. It can be willy-nilly, oh, I want this here, you know. But remember, once you put glue on it and put it down, that's pretty much its final spot. So if you're someone who wants to plan everything out, go for it. But lay it out before you glue it down, because that's your final. Ow. That's, it's going to be harder to move if you don't do that. Now I like doing this. See how that light is sitting on that flower? That white is going to reflect that and show that light up. So that's not a bad thing. We're going to leave that right there. Now, when you have a piece like this, you don't have to take it apart. We are going to trim it up a little. Grab your scissors and trim it. I like to trim it on an angle because that's what you would see in a florist shop. So it gives it a more real look. This is garbage, throw that away. Now, what we're gonna do, this is gonna be the back of our flower. We are gonna run a bead of glue down the stem. Take your glue gun, hold your two stems together, and right where they meet, right here, where they meet, run your bead of glue down. Sometimes you have to go over it more than once to get the glue where you want it. No big deal. And I'm just going to tuck it under one of these wires on the bottom. Ow, ow, ow. Don't do what I said like that. Just be careful, I tend to use my scissors to help position things. You can use popsicle sticks. I've got some of those around here somewhere too. Or a fingernail or whatever, but just, glue this down. Now, if you're going to use the whole stem like this, glue this down pretty quick because you're going to want to fill in on top of that or around it. And that's fine. We can do that. I'll show you what I mean. Put the glue on the green part only on this one. Now, sometimes you can glue down a certain leaf or something like that. so that it looks a certain way. But I'm just going to put this right there. It's going to hold down this stem, but it's also going to hide some of the wires and some of the stem on the other one. Now just keep going around the circle. And you will have in no time flat the cutest little wreath. You can do it for not a lot of money. It's, you know, this is an El Cheapo project. You're not going to be spending a ton. Really, you're not. And if your kids are still homebound for what reason or another, or getting into the summer holidays, you know, pull out some things like this and do a project with your kids. Spend time with your kids, because you only have their childhood for so long. You know, I think white is nice, but I love that pop of yellow. But we might use these too to hide a bigger space of because I still got this battery pack. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put glue right here on this stem back here. And on the back side of the battery pack, where it's glued to the wreath form, it hangs over a little bit. That's where I'm placing this, between the wreath form on the battery pack and the battery pack. Just tuck it in there. Now that's going to hide the battery pack quite nicely. Tuck some of this yellow around like this. Yes, this daisy's behind it and probably going to peek out once in a while when the wind blows, but not all the time, but that's okay. We're doing good. I'm looking for something. I don't even know what I'm looking for, I don't think. I have things stuck everywhere. I had some leaves around here somewhere. Now, I don't know if we're gonna, we might use this one at the bottom. That might be pretty. Now, I think the top is pretty good. So I'm gonna rotate my work so that I can get a clear space to work on. And I'm just gonna keep going around, placing new pieces as I like it. You can even use these as night lights. Use lights that aren't battery operated. You can use plug-in lights instead. And your child can make their own night light for their bedroom. Because, I mean, kids can be afraid of the dark. That's cool. No big deal. Let's make a night light for your bedroom, kids, and spend some time together doing just that. You know, they'll probably, you mean we can make it? I can help? Now I'm pulling these apart. See how they're stuck individually on the, no, because, see, I'm gonna pull this apart so I can stick them all the way in. This will be probably the final thing we'll place. So let's get these out. I want to show you, if the top part of the flower comes off the stem and you didn't want it to, you can usually just put it back. And if it won't stay, just add a bead of glue. Ooh. Oh, sorry. I'm in a mood. This is like the fourth one of these, or third one I've done today. But like I said, I'm trying to use them for a fundraiser. All right, let's see what else we got laying around here. I like some of these pretty little pink things, and I can put it right there and it'll be hid. Now, but see, it needs trimmed up a little bit. See how long that is? Yeah, volunteer dude. You can tell these are my craft scissors because they got glue on them. Right along the stem. And tuck the stem under this big white flower and press on the petal so the petal will hide the stem. And then we've got a little piece of pink peeking out. Y'all, I can talk. Sure I can. I've got a couple different sizes of these. They're rather papery, but they're kind of cute. They might work for a little, let's put them over here so that the wind doesn't blow them. They don't get blown around. Now, I like these too. And like I said, just because they are bought at Christmas time doesn't mean you can't use them at another point. I've got my finger in the glue. Rub your fingers together to get the hot glue off. If you try to rub your fingers on a towel, you're gonna get yourself glued to the towel. And that's never good. A little bit of a rose, but I think it's too big. Flutter by. I'm trying to bend it back. It's got these plastic veins on it that I can move and bend. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the glue right there on the back of the body. Hold on, I'm not gonna do anything till I find my glue stick. That's a glue stick. When my friend bought me this glue gun, he bought me a 5-pound box of glue sticks. He's like, this will last you for a while. I don't think he realizes just how many I'm using. Now I'm just gonna place this onto the wreath form. Ow. And try not to burn myself too badly. And now I'll put the butterflies kind of around it. Butterflies, listen to me. The flowers, the flowers. But if you want to wait until put this on last, that's cool, do that. This is your project. No one can tell you how to do your life or your project. They can try, but you can also ignore them. Now I like that because at the top of this butterfly is a little green light, so he gonna pop out. Let's add some more of these pretty daisies. I love these things. I like the daisies. I love Shasta daisies. I really think they're pretty. I like carnations. In fact, if I ever got married, I probably would use carnations and daisies in my bouquet. In fact, I'm doing a bouquet for a friend of mine. I'll be doing her wedding. Oh, that's good. I glued something really, that is not going to come off. Oh, that's interesting. Now see, that does happen. These things do happen. You just pull him off. And you see there's the dry glue on the back there. Just grab the dry glue, and if you can't peel it off, just cut the excess of the dry glue off like that. Now all we do is redo it because I glued it to the turntable. See, I don't edit. Most people would probably edit that out. But if I make the mistake, someone else might make the mistake. So just roll with it. Ouch. Now I still got some glue. What I've got here, see how it's on the other side of the form? Since you've still got glue there on the other side of the form and all that, just hurry because you don't have a lot of time, but you can stick another flower on the other side there to make it like 3D. And well, you meant for that to happen, right? Yeah. You know, and you can do as little or as much as you like. And did you know on fake flowers, a lot of the times when you see a dewdrop that they've put on the roses or whatever, it's just a form of hot glue that they've used to put those dewdrops on there. Now don't forget that you need a little bit of greenery, because flowers always have a little bit of greenery. So you want a little bit of leaf here and there, here and there. I knew I had another little daisy, but I'm gonna talk to my friend about carnations. She wants fake flowers, and carnations are really frilly. I don't know what kind she wants, but I will show you in a video how that bouquet and everything turns out, because I got to do boutonnieres for the guys and little corsages for the maid of honor's me, so I'll do my own. But the little bouquet she's gonna throw, we're gonna do that separate, so that just a nice little wedding. And she has to help, she has to buy the, I almost said ingredients. I am not cooking, I am doing flowers. She has to buy the flowers, the raw materials. And then she's gonna be here with me, and we're gonna work together on building her wedding bouquet together. Because she wants to learn how, she wants to be involved, and she wants it to be something she can keep on a long-term basis. So we're gonna do just that. She's gonna love it. I know she loves to be busy and doing things. She loves crafts, and so this is gonna be nice for her to have that. Now see, there was already a little bit of glue on there, so I just pushed it on there. And this is another way to do it, and then just put a little more glue on top. Now I'm gonna hide that piece with a flower. Yeah, sure I am. Now I'm gonna take some of these little flowers that I was messing with, and I want to put it over the white stem part of that, just so there's a little bit of another color there. If I were a sunflower, I was going to be a problem for tying it. Now see, these are all twisted together with wire, so you can even wire tie these onto the bouquets so they don't, glue or go flying off. I'm just going to trim that wire so that this one comes away from the pack. Put a little glue on the back. And I'm just gonna stick it where I have a hole. Easy breezy, just like she just said, easy breezy. Now this is just a little piece of greenery, and I kind of like it the way it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit of glue on this back part here where it meets the stem, and a little bit on the stem, but you don't need to put much on this particular stem because it's very small. So you don't always have to do big globs of glue, because then you're gonna see big globs of glue on your project. And we just slide it in there and get another flower, because I think I can slide him in right there. And now I'm gonna push down. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do, I have a little rose or a daisy bud here, but I have these little yellows that I really think are pretty, and I'm gonna sprinkle these around the wreath. In fact, one of them is going in the middle of this. Take the stem off this, because all I want's the head of the flower. Little bit of glue, little dab will do ya. If you think you need more later, you can always add more later. And I'm putting it right in the middle of the green. There. And I'll show you that in a minute. Now let's get a few more of these on the bouquet. Listen to me, I'm talking about wedding bouquets, that's why. I'm just gonna put a few of these little, I was just gonna go white, and you can go just white or yellow or single color, but I don't have enough of a single color to do that. I'm working with only what I've got. I haven't bought flowers in quite a while. I'm working through my tub to get rid of some of what I got, and then when I have need of more, I can buy more. But I need to use up some of what I got. If you have a certain project in mind and want to do a certain color or a certain look, by all means, I have done that. I've gone to the store, especially for like a Halloween wreath for somebody or their kids or whatever, and shopped for specific items. You can do that. There is no hard, fast rules here. You can even, if you wanted to add like a clear wired light after you got all the flowers on there, if you really wanted to do that, you could do that. You know, if that's something that you really felt it needed more lights, you can add them after and just hide them with the super glue or the hot glue under petals that you've already glued onto your wreath. If you really think that, hey, this is too dark, this needs more light or whatever, you can do that. No big deal. But I think we're about good. You don't see me putting many bows on my wreaths for a reason. I'm not good with bows. I haven't really learned bows. I don't have a bow maker. I thought about getting a bow maker just so that I could have something to help me make bows for this kind of thing. And a turntable is so handy when you're doing this so that you can turn everything around a little bit. And pick it up and just, if you think, you know, hey, this looks good, then it's done. You know, I didn't want this to be a really heavy wreath. I know you can't see it well because we're in the daylight. Hold on, let me bring you over. Can you see that a little better? You just got a hint of green there. And you've got a glue gun that just went tumbling down. But this does light up. It doesn't have much light on it. Just a little bit of green. And you can move these lights around any way you want. And if you want to glue them to a leaf of a flower like this one, I'll show you. We're going to glue this one down. What we're going to do is grab a hold of your light and put a little bit of glue where you want it to sit. And now, put your thumb on the behind. You might get a little hot here. And push the light into the glue. And just hold it there for a couple seconds. Now you've got the light in the front. You see, we just glued it to that, so the light's in the front. That's another way you can make your lights peek out. Hope you enjoyed today's wreath. Happy wreathing, happy crafting.